Solving systems of equations using elimination, lesson 11, notes review. So again, this is the notes review. Question number 1. Which variable is the easiest to solve for? You know, this doesn't show a coefficient here and it doesn't show a coefficient down here. Why would the x be easier to solve for than the y? Well, the x has a positive 1 coefficient where the y has a negative 1. So we want to solve for the top x. To solve for the top x, I need to get rid of this negative 2y. The opposite of negative, or the inverse operation, would be to add 2y to both sides. So I'll cancel the y terms on there. Bring down the x equals. These are not like terms. I do not combine them. I simply bring down my variable term, and then I bring down the constant term. So x equals 2y minus 6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this expression. Since I solved for the top x, I'm going to substitute it in for the bottom x. Again, I solved for the top x, so I'm going to substitute it in for the bottom x, and it'll look like this. Now, I will tell you both 1 and 2 are going to have an answer that looks like x equals a number and y equals a number. So this equation right here that we just solved for, that's what you will use in your second step. So pause your video, get all of that written down. I would go about halfway down the paper before I put that other equation. All right, now I'm not helping you at all with number 1. This is the 4th assignment doing problems like this. If you need help with solving a multi-step equation, go back, watch some videos, or you can send me a message, but the steps are all the same. Distribute a property first, then combine like terms, get your variables to one side, your constants to the other side, and then divide. So you are on your own for the rest of number 1. Number 2. Number 2, which variable am I going to solve for? That has a coefficient of -9. This has a coefficient of 26. This has a coefficient of -2. This top y is the only one that has a coefficient of +1. It's the only one that would take only one step to solve for it. So I'm going to add 9x to both sides. The inverse operation for -9x would be to add 9x. So the x terms would cancel. Bring down the y equals. These, again, are not like terms. I cannot combine them. So I bring down the variable term first, the constant term last. So I've got y equals 9x minus 4. Since I solved for the top y, this expression will go into the bottom y. I solved for the top y, that expression will go in for the bottom y. So it'll look like 26x minus 2 times the quantity 9x minus 4 equals -4. Pause your video, get all of that written down. Okay, now I am going to help you with the first part of number 2, and that is because both x and y will be a decimal answer. So I'm going to help you with the first part of number 2. You'll be on your own for the second part. First step is the distributive property. Why do I circle that? I circle that so you recognize that we are multiplying by -2 and not just 2. I'm going to bring down the 26x. -2 times 9x would be -18x. -2 times, that's a -4. So 2 negatives would become +8. Keep your equal signs lined up. Bring down the -4. Now I combine like terms. 26x minus 18x would give me 8x. So I've got 8x plus 8 equals negative 4. Now, I need to get my variable terms to one side, my constant terms to the other side. So I look to see which type of, do I only have one of? I only have one variable term, and it is on the left. So that means it's going to stay where it is. Since I only have one variable term on the left, I need to take my constant term to the right. So that positive 8 will go to the other side of the equation. And to move it, I'm going to need to take the inverse operation, which is to subtract 8 from both sides. The 8's will cancel. Bring down the 8x. Keep the equal signs lined up. Negative 4 minus 8 is negative 12. Last step is to isolate the variable. It's multiplication, so that means I need to divide both sides by 8. The 8's will cancel. Bring down the x equals. Now, if you put that in your calculator, you might get negative 3 over 2, but I want these answers in decimal form. So negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 1.5. We're going to go ahead and write down both, though. So this would be negative 3 over 2, which is the same as negative 1.5. All right. So now that we solve for x, I'm going to come up here. I know x is going to be negative 1.5. Let's fill that in. Negative 1.5. Okay. I now need to solve for y by using this equation right here. So I'm going to take that y equals 9x minus 4 and just rewrite it down here. Then wherever I see a variable, that's where I'm going to put the parentheses. So I'll put the parentheses for x. And I'm going to take this negative 1.5 and plug it in for the x. Might not have saved myself enough room. And then you will finish that problem on your own to solve for y. But again, you will have another decimal answer. All right, so that is it for the Using Elimination Lesson 11 Notes Review. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, you're going to be completely on your own for number 1. Number 2, I did half of it with you. And the second part is very easy, so you should be fine. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.